Okay, this is the Social Studies Curriculum Project, and this is going to be by me, Logan Cosby, Anaya Harris, Atlanta Combs. Social Studies. A natural way for children to maintain curiosity and interest is through art and construction experiences. This involves using diagrams, charts, maps, and symbols that present ideas that are often difficult to understand. Doing this gives a detailed look into other cultures. Students will find out key components of different cultures and what is important to them, such as food, shelter, clothing, and architecture. By doing this, the students will appreciate the differences in cultures. For my activity, I used the social studies standard from the second grade, the ninth one, and it said describe how and why people from various cultures immigrate to the United States. And my art standard was also from the second grade. It was the seventh one. It said collaborate on ways to publicly display artwork based on a theme or concept. So my activity was students will be given a large blank sheet of paper. On one side, they would draw an American flag. On the back, students will answer questions about themselves, the things that define them. It will ask favorite clothing items, favorite food, favorite music genre, and etc. Below this information, students will draw a self-portrait. Once the students finish the assignment, they will present their finished work to the class. Each student will do this.
For drama and social studies, if you compare drama and social studies, you will see that the goals in teaching those are very similar. Using drama in order to better understand social studies is truly where the two come together as one. Because drama entices children to take on the roles of someone else and learn why those characters are who they are. It evokes empathy within the students. Examples of different kinds of drama activities are role play, reenactments, puppets, dramatic play, and pantomime. All of these things can help students learn a content area such as social studies while having fun. The standards I use for the activity is the social studies standard for grade 2, and it's used various primary sources, including calendars and timelines for reconstructing the past. Examples are historical letters, stories, interviews with elders, photographs, maps, and artifacts. The art standard for theater is also for grade 2, and it's collaborate with peers to devise meaningful dialogue and a guided drama experience. The activity will be that students will collect resources, whether online or in a library, for some of the evidence in the first rural and urban communities ever documented. Then they will be put into groups and decide if they want to create a drama of an urban or of a rural community. They will create a drama dialogue with characters in the setting of urban or rural that they choose and how they imagine the world to be based on the research that they previously did.
Okay, so mine was about incorporating music and movement into social studies, and every child loves to sing and dance. But what if I told you that singing and dancing in your class could be a super beneficial way to learning? Music and movement allows students to auditorily and physically connect information. Allowing your students to connect through music and movement helps them to feel the true emotion and the importance of social studies. Let your students write a song about the American flag, make up a dance or routine like Choctaw Indians used to do, or you could even have them rap about the Earth's continents. This is such a great way to meet the needs of the diverse learners in your classroom. And this is called a music and movement activity with social studies, and I chose third graders. And our social studies standard is to locate the prime meridian, the equator, Tropic of Capricorn, Cancer, the international date line, and lines of latitude and longitude. And then I would have them locate places on maps and globes. And our art standard is to perform improvised movements with or against tempos and rhythms in music or sound. And I would just wrap up this in my lesson. So today's lesson would wrap up our unit on geography about locating the prime meridian, equator, Tropic of Capricorn, and Cancer, and all that I just read. So I would pair the students in groups of 2 to 3 because you don't want it to be too big or else it could get kind of chaotic. So I would give the students a choice so they could choose the music one or the movement one, because I know some students like song better and some like the dance part better. So if they chose the music one, I would ask them to come up with a rap or a song to the tune of a popular song that they might like that incorporates at least 3 of the following of our standard that I said. Or for the movement part, they could come up with a dance or routine and add a chant to it that explains the motions that they're using and allows them to incorporate the meaning of at least 2 of the following of our standard that we said. And then to give them an idea, I would show them a parody video. And if you click on these, they're linked to YouTube videos just to give them a little bit of an idea for their project.
Hi, my section was pre-K through kindergarten, and a few ideas in the book that I like that it talks about was you can use, our section was history, and you can use Google Maps or whatever to help the students have a better visual. Also, you can take them on a virtual field trip, and you can implement videos and music with this, take the children around a certain place. And then for my activity, the first activity that I used talked about providing order in a school system or whatever. And the first activity, I also implemented art and music. Well, for the standard, I'm sorry, I used music. Okay, so for the first activity, first what you would have them do is have a minute, and you would have them write down the rules or your school rules or whatever rules that you would like to implement. And then second, they would write down the rules. And then for the music aspect of it, they would make a song by using a beat, a rhyme or whatever, and they could record their song by using a Flipgrid. And then my second activity that I used was goods and services. And I would have the students, and this would be making an art for the art standard, and I would have the students make a book. So the first page would be write about goods and then draw a picture for an example. And then the second section would be write about services right here, and then have an example, draw a picture of an example of services.
So my activity can easily be modified depending on what grade group they're in. My grade group was kindergarten through 3rd grade. In this particular standard, the social studies standards was kindergarten 1, secret events using schedules, calendars, and timelines, and the art standard was visual arts, creating, kindergarten 5. It was to create and tell a story with art that communicates about a familiar person, place, or thing. In this particular choice, I made a little timeline of this May, and it shows when we started class, some of the Zoom meetings we had in class, and when this project is due. I thought that would be fun for a timeline, but you could have students do the past week, the past month. They could have them do a personal timeline of their own lifetime. It's really customizable and easy to do. And then again, this is going over the grades, what they're starting to be introduced to in each different grade. First grade is they're learning their place in the community, you know, what they're supposed to do as a citizen, stuff like that. Second is working and living together as a whole community, which is their role as a citizen, but built upon that. So they now have interpersonal connections with other people in the community. And third is when they're being introduced to major geographical skills, along with what their government's role is. So now they're learning how to use maps, learning how to read a map, and they're also learning about what local government looks like in our state and in our county. And yes, and that's all three. Juana, you're muted.
Sorry. Okay. So my activity is for specifically second graders. One of them for art standard is having them display their art in public or in the classroom. And then for social studies, a standard is to identify a past and present contribution of a variety of individuals who have overcome difficulties or obstacles to achieve goals. And I feel like that's important because students should know that during hardships they could do and accomplish things. And you can go to the next slide. And my activity for this one is called Overcoming Hardships, Abraham Lincoln Edition. I used Abraham Lincoln because he grew up in an area where he didn't really have, the luxurious life, but he made his way up to the stairs. And on this activity, you'll have, you could also have a crossover with a reading activity, but since it's social studies, students will read A Lincoln Clears a Path, and then after the teacher will hold discussion and debate and discuss about Lincoln's life story. And after they finish the discussion, they'll have to create a 3D art display of Abraham's Lincoln's goals or his accomplishments that he has done. That was from the text from the book that they just read. And then the materials will be provided. You can use crayons, glue sticks, construction paper, cardboard, or pipe cleaners. Those will work and they'll create a 3D display. And once they finish, in the end, you'll just have a mini art museum session in the classroom. You'll have they're all creations in the back of the classroom or in front and have it displayed. And each student will look at everybody's creation and, look at it and talk about it and what they think. Yes.